tubers, welcome back for another adventure. And you guys might not believe it, but I'm a hoarder. But luckily, back in the day, I was smart enough to hoard a bunch of Honda stuff. And what you're looking at is a 1970 Honda Z50A, Honda Mini Trail 50. Obviously, this is the hardtail version. It's one of the really early ones. And though it does have a key in it, and it's got a nice complete exhaust system from one end to the other, this thing here is a money pit worth of problems. I really do want to get it running again, and I thought I had two of these. So I was all ready to go to the second one and get a bunch of parts off of it. But unfortunately, the second one doesn't have parts for this. I'm not exactly sure of the year of this thing. It's 72 forward. It's much like that guy right there. But obviously it's a soft tail. I mean, I might be able to borrow the handlebars, throttle, and so forth off of it, but there's not a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not going to borrow much off the engine. The shifter is welded, and this is actually a 70cc engine. It is not the 50cc version. So I don't exactly remember where I got these, whether it was probably the Rhinebeck car show, maybe not there, maybe one of the flea markets. So once again, I bought this and the other one, and I think the pair were like $150. They were so cheap, I just jumped on them. And I've probably owned them for about 15 years. So even 15 years ago, these things were worth some heavy-duty money. And I wanted to get this out and look it over and figure out what I was going to do with it, and, you know, what made sense and what didn't make sense. And what I don't want to do with it is, I don't want to put a lift-ran engine on it. I might put it on the other guy, the one that already has the 70cc engine on it. But I don't want to do that with this one. And just starting with what it needs new handlebars. These are bent and kinked. This is actually kinked down in there. I don't know if you guys could see it. There you go. Maybe you could see it's got a kink here. This one isn't quite as bad, but they're pretty trashy. So it needs that. The headlight is it's got something there, but not all of it. Right. So part of the bucket is there and all. Right. It's got no throttle, no grips, no levers. Right, that's pretty butchered up. So the front suspension actually doesn't look bad. The bars aren't bent. It does have a tire and wheel, so there's a lot of play here. So it needs quite a bit of love and attention to bring that back to. The engine, I do not have a complete carburetor. I'm missing the throttle slide. I do have the cap, the cabled shot. I don't see an ignition coil, so that's missing. I don't know if it's seized or not. You can't kick it over because where that stub is all torn up, that's where the Kickstarter used to be. It does have the pegs, does not have the kickstand. It's got part of the brake. It doesn't have the lever and the pieces that go back there. In the front fender's there, bent up a bit, but it is there, and it does appear to be complete. The back fender is partly here, right? I mentioned the tail light. Obviously, the seat's not here. The seat is just a couple of square brackets, so to speak, flat plate pad and seat on top of it, so I can theoretically fab the seat. About the gas tank, you could get a replica gas tank. They're about $200. You can order the right gas tank for $100 from Vietnam with another $50 to ship it to you, and maybe you're going to get it and maybe you're not. So we are missing the gas tank. It did appear to catch fire at some point, right? This is melted. That appears to be melted. These are melted, right? This is like melted, and it's got like this junk dripped all over it. So I think at some point, whatever they had on it for a gas tank melted. They also got sealer around here. I don't know, this engine might be down to parts. Okay, here's the other side of it. There are two large synthetic washers that the gas tank actually kind of slips down and settles down, and then there's an elastic band that goes around here and snaps onto a post onto the gas tank. So obviously it doesn't have those. It does have the key, and the key does seem to work. So that's a nice thing, unless they gutted the ignition system, right? Moving down, so I'm missing the cover, right? The shifter appears okay. It's not all boogered up. Oh, it does seem to shift. Doesn't appear to be seized. Doesn't appear to have any compression either. Well, maybe slightly. These things aren't like meant, they're not big on the compression anyway. Obviously there's no battery, no chain. The sprockets are there. This one's really bad. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's missing a tooth. Every time yeah, let's go this way. See how it's missing that tooth right there. So I did get a good deal on this thing back in the day. Some of you may be looking at me going, it'd be better if you were able to find an engine. One question I do have, obviously I know how to work on these. I've been working on them since I've been 12 years old. But what I'd love to be able to find for this guy is some parts. I did run across a guy on eBay who seems to deal in these things pretty exclusively. So he's someplace to get parts from. He is a tad expensive. I can easily, well, you start at $200 for a gas tank, another couple $100 for handlebars. I think this covers $100, right? And the other stuff, I can easily put $600–800 into this rig. If it looks halfway decent, like the one at the car show, I mean, that guy was trying to get $1,500, and it wasn't a freebie. It wasn't sold first thing in the morning. So if I had to guess, I think if you peeled off $1,200 bills, you would definitely have it. And maybe if you were a real wheeler dealer, 1,000. I don't think so. I had the idea he had $1,000 into it, especially with the new tires and everything else he did. But you know, if maybe 1,000, 1,200, I think somebody could have had that one, and that wasn't exactly mint condition either. Yeah, by the time you get done with the headlight and battery, I don't know. I don't know if the Kickstarter shaft is the same as the 70s, as the CT70s. I think there are quite a few parts. I also have a lot of CT70s floating around, and CT70 parts engines, so I could always get that. But I have a secret weapon to bringing the motor on this thing back, and let me show that to you. So back to being a hoarder. Could you guys see it? Could you see it? Whoa, check it out. I bought this 50cc engine God, it has to be almost 40 years ago. Back in the days of the Maybrook flea market. Look at it. I got the carburetor. It's complete. It's got the slide. Brake got the whole bit. Got the putt-putt exhaust on it. I don't know if the remainder of the exhaust is sitting in the bag. It's sitting here in the bag. I also don't know if the ignition system is sitting in the bag there. Right, you guys can see this bag around it. But it does have a complete exhaust system and all that. So I have an engine for this thing, which is really cool. That is beyond cool. There's the Kickstarter on the engine, and you can tell by the weeble wobble it's not welded on, it's not broken. Right, I have the shifter on the other engine if I need it. Exhaust, carburetor, I got it all. So, I don't have this cover though. That engine is missing this cover also. Really cool project, and I think this is one I want to bring back. I'm not sure, you know, it's hard to put huge, and I mean huge, huge money into it, the handlebars and all that. Hopefully I can borrow the handlebars off the bike around back, around the corner. Then I could kind of try to straighten these out and put them on that bike, the twin that came in with this. The seat, you know, work at it, try to get a $100 model or fab something up. The engine, you just saw the engine. Right, tires and nuts and bolts is needed. Pop for that cover because I do need it. Once again, I'm not sure. I don't think the one in the back has one. Let's go look. Yeah. Got no chain here. Well, that ain't good. This appears, I don't know if you guys can see it, if I'm casting a shadow on it or not. It says 71 or 72 cc's. So this is a 70 cc model. Somebody took the plate off the neck here, so I can't tell what year it is. But from the looks of the gas tank, it looks the same as this. And what is this guy? This guy appears to be a 1975. I paid 80 bucks for this back then. Stole it. This is in nicer shape than the one at the flea market was. So this one might actually be a $1,500 machine. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Yeah, I have a hoard of these. The 70s, mostly 70s. There is one more 50. It is the it's the real, I call it the real Z50. I look at these as mini trails, particularly the first one we looked at is a mini trail. This is kind of the in-between mini trail. And then the other guy, the one with the wider seat, kind of gets a little wider and all. I have one of those. God, I bought that a long time ago too. This is the famous Ingrid bike. Paid 150 bucks for this back then. So anyway, yeah, I figured I'd bring you down, and the purpose of showing you that bike was threefold. I wanted to refamiliarize myself with it, so that's item number one. So that's the first thing I wanted to do. The second thing I wanted to do was see what parts it needed, and by shooting a video of it, now I'll remember as I go finish searching around. But it looks like I'm going to part with some real money. I also wanted to ask you guys, which is kind of number 3, just in case you guys had some parts out there that maybe we can work something out on. I prefer to buy stuff rather than, you know, have you guys, oh, well, you know, yeah, I have a seat. Tell you what, give me 3 Honda 70s and, you know, $50 and we'll trade it. I'd rather just give you money and not part with my hoard. But let me know what you guys got. None of this stuff is for sale or trade or anything else. I've kind of spun off the Honda CT50, CT70, Street Legal 70. I spun off all that stuff I'm going to spin off. So what I have left is what I'm keeping. Just enough to fit in the basement. Anyway, I really, really want to thank you guys for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.